Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Gold MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy, tag team partner Anthony Florio, and we welcome you to the show tonight. And guys, we have ourselves a little bit of some wrestling. So tonight, obviously, we're gonna get into the premiere episode of TNA Thursday night Impact on AMC. Of course, this was the big move that they announced that AMC was now going to be the new home for TNA Impact Wrestling. And they had their first episode, a live episode, as a matter of fact. And we will get into that in just a matter of moments. And then, of course, because of the European tour, I hope you guys did not catch any spoilers, but we do have Smackdown Live as well. So we have a lot to talk about. Not a lot of time to get into it, but let's get into it as we speak. So we started off TNA with a promo segment as the phenomenal AJ Styles walked into the building and basically firing up the crowd to get us into the start of the evening. And for us to say that this was a big era, as you guys know, like we said, this is a new era in professional wrestling for TNA as they finally have jumped and made the leap back into television, back into, more televisions at the home front. Unfortunately, I was unable to do it a lot of times because of Access TV wasn't really something that I can really do in my spare time or during that time and place. Anthony was more fortunate. That's why he's kind of become the voice of TNA during these years. However, with AMC now in the fold, it actually gives me an opportunity to say that I can jump into the fray and have the enjoyment and the time and all the goodness that I thought I was gonna have. So I'm very happy that TNA is finally on a network that I can, reel about and do everything about. So I'm excited for that era. So so with that said, we did have our first official match as it was Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, the Hardys, and Elijah. There he went up against Order 4 members, John Schuyler, Jason Hotch, and Mustafa Ali. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in roughly 8 minutes and 20 seconds was the Hardy Boys and Elijah. It was a good match. It was a solid matchup. Very good to see the match come to a close. And then the Righteous came out, and it looked like everything was going to be good because Agent Zero came out and started destroying everything in sight. So Vincent and Dutch hit the ring, and we thought that, they're gonna be on the side of the Hardy. Oh no. The Righteous jumped the Hardys. And I think, Anthony Florio, we know why that happened. The Righteous is out for the tag team gold. They want those belts, and they will get that shot at Genesis. Genesis is going on as we speak. Anthony will have those results for you on Tuesday night as part of his show, Ridiculously Raw. But until then, Anthony Florio, I would say about a solid 2.5-star bout, and it is all yours.
Thank you, my friend. 2.5 to 2.75 of a star for me. This was an energetic match, but it left a lot to be desired. It felt like the commercial break took up too much time in the middle. But the post-match attack from the Righteous helped hype their upcoming tag team title bout. I thought Mustafa Ali and Elijah shined the brightest in this match, but not as much as they would have in a singles bout. And even after a few years, we still get the urge to say walk with Elias instead of Elijah. The way Mustafa Ali crashed into the turnbuckle looked wild. And you noticed Jeff Hardy's ear hole being used to lock him to the ring was creative, but it was also cringe-inducing as well. So 2.5, 2.75 of a star. No question about that. And yes, MF, you're absolutely right. Tuesday night, Ridiculously Raw, I will have the results of TNA Genesis, and I can confirm the main event is going on right now as we speak. The death match, Texas death match for the TNA Heavyweight Championship.
All right. All right. With that said, then we're just going to move right on along. And the next thing that we did have was Santino Marella cutting a promo, but was interrupted as basically a new, I guess you could say, a new voice in TNA. Daria Ray made her debut. Now, for all you fans who don't know who Daria Ray is, she's formerly Sonya Deville of WWE. And Anthony Boy, she came out swinging in her debut, and also dropped a nuke on all of us that I think, honestly, we all were surprised and definitely a little happy to see this beautiful baby girl. But I'll let you take this moment.
Santino Marella was up next to talk about how the roster was ready for a new era and new fans to discover the product. He also mentioned the recent betrayal by his own daughter, Ariana Grace. He said the board of TNA has decided he could use some assistance running the show, and he was relieved when he found out it would be Daria Ray, formerly known as Sonya Deville in WWE. She thanked Santino and put over the crowd before turning and saying TNA doesn't need him and his dumb jokes. She said nobody will respect him if his own daughter won't. She also revealed she has signed a new knockout to TNA and revealed it was Elena Black, formerly Cora Jade in WWE. To the delight of good old MF Michael Fletcher. And yes, MF, I'm going to be honest with you. I could have sworn I heard some loud and I not only heard a loud grr out of you, but I also could have sworn I heard your heart beating a gazillion miles a second. Because we know, it's well documented how much you love Cora Jade. Elena Black, back when she was in NXT, of course. But yeah, first you let out your McAfee let's go, then you let out a grr, and then you know the rest. So the heel turn from Daria was pretty sudden, but it will create an interesting dynamic with a power struggle. And Elena Black's arrival in TNA was a nice surprise to end the segment. And I'll say it like this. She got a raw deal in NXT. I mean, it's a damn shame that, you know, they let her go. I mean, she could have been a pillar for NXT. She could have been one of the marquee stars in that women's division. She could have easily had been a champion. She could have won a North American title. She might have even won the big title. But, you know, unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I mean, she was forced to create an OnlyFans account, which I know did very well for her. And but nonetheless, business is about to pick up. And Sonya Deville as a heel authority figure, it will work. Because let's not forget, she was a heel authority figure in WWE when, you know, she had that, you know, that little power struggle with Adam Pearce a number of years ago. So her and Santino with a power struggle. We'll see how that goes. And Elena coming in, Cora Jade, the TNA, business has most certainly picked up in the Knockouts division. And I guarantee you, MF, I guarantee you that they are going to make Cora Jade, that TNA is going to make Cora Jade or Elena Black, whatever you want to call her, they're going to make her an even bigger star than she was ever in NXT. Look what they've done with Lei Ying Lee, for goodness sakes.
We are going to get into her in a little bit.
Championship on Lei Ying Lee.
Yes, it did. And we're definitely going to get into her because something happened during that show that had some major implications for Lei Ying Lee.
Big time. Lei Ying Lee. Just like Cora Jade, she was lost in the shuffle in WWE. Well, she started in NXT, and then She eventually got called up to the main roster, but she got criminally underutilized.
Yeah,
Criminally
absolutely.
underutilized.
Absolutely, yes.
And look what TNA did. They went and made her a bigger star. Ash by Elegance, Dana Brooke.
Yep.
Dana had a couple of moments here and there in WWE, a 24/7 champion and among other things, but they made her a knockouts champion. Unfortunately, due to injury, she had to relinquish the title.
Yeah, actually was forced to even retire briefly because of
damn shame.
Her injury. But we do know that she is still around. She's still in TNA, which is
she's like in a managerial type role.
Yeah, great for me. Great for my conscience and my confidence and
another one of your favorites.
Another one of my faves, yes.
Yep. But yeah, those are the two best examples that I can use. I mean, Dana or Ash by Elegance and Lei Ying Lee. Criminally underutilized in WWE. What did TNA do? They went ahead and made them bigger stars than they ever were in WWE. And I don't know when, but at some point this calendar year, I believe in my heart of hearts, they're gonna do the same thing with Elena Black. Trust me when I tell you.
Now, the big question I would have is, that WWE and TNA does have this working relationship. Is it possible that this could be the avenue that we could see Elena Black maybe make a return to NXT in the very near future?
Well, I mean, never say never, right?
Yeah.
That's the old saying.
I mean, I think the fans definitely would go bonkers if we see her back in NXT at least, because I don't think WWE is very possible. I just don't think so. I think because for me, I feel like the wounds are a little too raw right now. But I think over time, maybe they'll bring her. If they ever wanted it to bring Elena to WWE again, it's possible. But I kind of feel like the wounds are a little too fresh for Elena to go to WWE again and to at least show up on a future WWE show, even though I think we all would love to see it because, to see maybe her and Roxanne Perez again. And we already know the history between these two. I mean, sometimes they're the best of friends. Sometimes they're the worst enemies. You don't know what you're going to get with that scenario. But we do know that Elena is very close with CM Punk, with AJ Lee, with Roxanne Perez. Maybe there's a moment where all four together at the same time. That would be the ultimate. That would be the ultimate coup.
For sure. But I've said my piece. So, MF, I mean, like I said, I heard, I could have sworn I heard some loud thumping coming from your area when you saw Elena Black being introduced after a Pat McAfee Let's Go and a Gurr and the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's no secret how much you love Cora Jade, and I know seeing her back in wrestling and back in TNA, you were grinning like a Cheshire cat, weren't you?
I could not believe this happened. I could not believe this actually happened because if you would have told me Elena Black back in wrestling and in TNA of all places, I would have told you no shot. I would have said no chance because of the fact of, look, honestly, I would have thought maybe Japan, maybe Mexico in CMLL, maybe her in, I'm going to say it, I thought AEW for Elena. I did. I really thought AEW. I never thought in a million years we would see her in TNA. And she instantly helps and instantly boosts the credibility of the Knockouts division. Because there was a time where the Knockouts were, I gotta say it, maybe better than any organization in the world. And that is, between AEW, WWE, NXT, whatever you want to say. They had it. The TNA knockouts were, at the time, some of the greatest women in the world. And that was the one that was, out of everything that TNA had, that was maybe the one hat they could hang on that universally wrestling fans would have said, that's where they got, that's their bread and butter, the TNA Knockouts division, because they had so many women, from the Gail Kims to the Awesome Kongs, the Mickey James. You can say, you know, the Roxy Laveaux. They had Maria Canales. They had Allie. You know, they had the beautiful people, Angelina Love, Velvet Sky. And yeah, if you want to put Lacey Von Erich's name in there, and Madison Rayne, we'll give you those.
Laurel Van Ness.
Laurel Van Ness. Now known as Chelsea Green. So, I mean, there was so many great women in TNA, and there are still some great ones. You got, you know, from Ye Ling to Xia Brookside to, you know, yes, the Elegance brand, you can say whatever you want to say. There was something that we did here that definitely hurt the Knockouts division. We'll talk about that in about a minute, because this one gutted me and Anthony Florio when we both heard this news. But yeah, without a doubt. So there's really nothing more to say there. It was just a great moment in wrestling to see them come back, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. We'll see what this lays out and what's gonna go on next. So next up we had was, speaking of knockouts and the tag team knockouts, tag team titles on the line. The Inspiration, Cassie Lee, Jessica McKay, putting the titles on the line against M and Heather by Elegance. You had the Concierge. You had Mr. Elegance. You had Perez Hilton. Why the hell was he there? And then you had, of course, the Concierge. Titles on the line. Winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. The Elegance brand wins the gold. M and Heather by Elegance gets the belts. It was presented by Carlos Silva, the president of TNA, presenting the titles to the new champions. And yes, history made. I won't go beyond that because I can't say the other part, because there was a little bit of some interference in the matchup. So it will not be an unprecedented crowning. We will say that. But yeah, this was it was an all right fight. It was a little sloppy. I know a lot of fans poo-pooed over this, granted, but here's the reason why that it made sense for the Elegance brand to win the titles. Unfortunately, with much regret for me to announce this, but Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, the Inspiration, their contracts have ran out in TNA, and this was their last night on the brand. Unfortunately, for now, they are free agents. They can sign with any company in the world. However, the TNA and them could not come to an agreement. Obviously, this was the end of the line for the Inspiration. They lose the titles this way, and you want to talk about a gut punch? I think me and Anthony Florio definitely felt the gut punch once that news came out that they were not coming back to TNA. We were just like, oh, that hurt. That hurt. That hurt. Anthony's a big Jessica McKay fan. I'm a huge fan of Cassie Lee. Yeah, this hurt. So fine. It was a fine match. Maybe 2.5 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
What was the time again?
9:40.
Yeah. Solid 3 here. but it doesn't come without constructive criticism, though. Overbooked ending to an underwhelming match. Not much more I can say about it. It didn't make anyone look good. It was mainly because of Mr. Elegance and Ash by Elegance had some interesting words about the recent TNA departures. Perez Hilton, I don't even know why he was there. He didn't even say anything. It's almost like Carlos Silva and them let Vince McMahon through the door or something. That's something Vince McMahon would have done. Let's be realistic. That was a Vince move right there. And I mean, the best I could go is maybe 3 for that one. But like I said, overbooked ending. The match was not, it was a little on the underwhelming side, not much more. Nobody looked good, and that's all there is to say. So with that being said, MF, let's move on to our next newsworthy moment here.
All right. Our next newsworthy moment that we actually did have here was,
I do apologize. I did want to make a quick comment about the inspiration. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean,
sure, go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely gutted about that. You're absolutely right. Jessica McKay, aka Billy Kay. I always called her the femme fatale, and she still is and always will be. And yes, Cassie Lee, Peyton Royce. I mean, I thought they were going to be there for a little longer. I guess not. You never know. I mean, they're both mamas now. So maybe family may have factored into this. You never know. I mean, the wrestling business is not an easy business. I mean, 200, 300 or whatever days a year, they have to leave their families to ply their craft in the ring every week, week in, week out, day in, month in, year in, all that good stuff. And you don't get to see your families. And for those rare times that you do, you have to, once you get home, I mean, yeah, you may be sore from all the bumps and everything else, but after that, you got your family life. You got to be Superman. You got to be super mom, super dad, and all that good stuff. Super husband, super wife. And, perhaps family may have factored into it, or maybe they couldn't come to a new agreement. I don't know. But MF and I, we wish the absolute best to Cassie and Jesse. And I hope and pray that one day they'll find success elsewhere in the world of professional wrestling. But whether they do or they don't, we simply say thank you for all of the wonderful memories that the two of you have given us over the years, whether they were the Iconics in WWE or inspiration in TNA. Trust us, you'll be in our hearts and our minds forever. Now let's move on.
All right. So speaking of that moment that we were talking about, so Santino came out and had the Knockouts Women's Champion Yayi Ling with Xia Brookside, and of course the big news, or the news that's been coming out in the world of in the world, was that there's been an visa crisis. Basically, government's been getting involved, restricting certain people from certain parts of the world to enter the United States. And unfortunately, Dani Luna got caught in the mess. She's been caught in the mess. There's been a number of superstars that have gotten caught in this mess. And it's really affected the TNA roster more than anything else. So, unfortunately, due to the visa issues, Yayi Ling was because Dani Luna was number one contender. She was supposed to have a shot at the title at Genesis. Well, unfortunately, due to the international visa crisis, the match is off. We lost that match. So now, Yayi Ling is like, you know what? I'll take anybody on. Open challenge. Let's do it. next up comes Zarya and Sol Ruka from NXT. And Sol Ruka was like, you know what? As much as it would be a great opportunity, and we were watching the Knockouts tag team division because that is why we were here tonight to, scout the competition, maybe think about us going after those titles. She's like, but I will say this. The TNA Knockouts Championship will look really good around Zarya's waist. Zarya looked at her like, wait, what? Me? You want me to go after this title? And Sol's like, yeah, you deserve it. I think you'd be a great champ. Zarya's like, all right, let's do it. At Genesis, Zarya versus Yang Ling for the Knockouts Championship. My goodness, this is an interesting situation to say the very least, but we'll see how that plays out. Anthony, quick thought?
Yeah. Let me see here. Pretty short standard segment. It didn't do much to hype the match, but I was hopeful that WWE and TNA would promote it before the pay-per-view. And but yeah, Danny Luna, I mean, unfortunately, it's unfortunate what happened, mainly because of this this crisis with the global visa issues and the whole 9 yards. I'm praying that a resolution will come to that soon enough. I mean, a lot of wrestlers affected by this. I mean, Leon Slater got affected by it. I mean, just to name another. And but this is another chapter in the story that is Zarya and Sol Ruka. I mean, how many ups and downs have they had over the last several weeks? I mean, quite a few. And for Sol Ruka to literally step aside and let Zarya have the golden opportunity to go after the Knockouts Championship, putting her friend's welfare ahead of her own. I mean, commendable. That's all I can say. I mean, it would be like if you and I had an opportunity, both had an opportunity to become, the world heavyweight champion or something. It would be like if I stepped aside for you or vice versa. I mean, but, it's a shame what happened to Danny Luna. I mean, Danny Luna earned the right to go for this opportunity. And, as they always say, things happen. And hopefully, but I do believe in my heart of hearts that that Danny Luna will get her rightful title opportunity once these issues get cleared up, and we will go from there. But it sets up a very good, and I do mean very good, backup plan here. Lei Ying Li and Zarya, be a woman fight. Sign us up. We'll take it. So not much more. MF, what says you?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I like the matchup. I think it was a good setup, and I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, to say the very least. I'm excited for it too. I think there's definitely going to be some excitement coming out of it, and some definite looking forward to. So nothing more to say here. So next up that we did have was basically then Gia Miller introduces Carlos Silva, and he actually brings out former TNA president and former owner of the company, Dixie Carter. Definitely shocked the crowd. The fans kind of wasn't too pleased to see her. They booed her pretty hard. And then Bully Ray came out. And it looked like it was a little bit of a tense moment, but no, everything was good. Gave her a hug, and that led us into the main event of the evening, which was Frankie Kazarian versus Mike Santana for the TNA World Title. The winner of the bout in 17 minutes, even and new TNA World Champion Mike Santana. He wins the title, gets the belt back. Anthony Floyo, history made, unprecedented crowning, and there was also a little bit of some chaos after the fact, but it is all yours, my friend. Santana, the champion again.
And the time once again?
17 even.
All right. 3.5 to 4 stars. Far and away the fight of the night here. They had a good back and forth match that gave us a few convincing false finishes. Mike Santana has settled into his role as a main event talent in TNA nicely and looked at home in a big match like this. And I mean, Santana's jumping kick in the corner looked weird because Kaz sold it too quickly. Kaz's slingshot cutter was a nice spot, and whatever Kaz was trying to do at the end was unclear because they botched it. But nonetheless, the right man won here. He never should have lost the title to begin with. I mean, taking the title off of him after only like a month or so made absolutely zero sense. But in the grand scheme of things, maybe at the end of the day, it did make sense. Maybe they wanted to save it for a bigger stage. And I thought it was going to be Genesis tonight, honestly. But they saved it for Thursday night on AMC. And I'm going to give credit to Michael Bullock on this one because, Bullock and I, we have our chats, we have our Raw chats and Smackdown chats and other chats here and there. But we talked about this match for a bit, and I honestly thought it was going to have a clunky finish, which would set up a rematch at the Genesis pay-per-view. But Bullock thought, no, I think Santana's going to get the belt back. I think Santana's going to regain the title so you can get the AMC era off to a hot start and start it with a bang. So Bullock deserves the credit for this one. So 3.5 to 4, definitely the fight of the night. Right guy won, and oh boy, look what it ended up setting up for Genesis though, coming out of it. So I'm not gonna take away MF's moment here. It's his show. We're gonna let him, set the table for that. So not much more. 3.5 to 4, easily the fight of the night. MF, no question about it. The right guy won, and you couldn't have asked for a better way to end the first TNA on AMC. They got it right.
They got it right, no doubt about it. That was a great outcome. Definitely a great moment to see Mike Santana get the belt back because he definitely deserves it more than anything else. Just to guys let you know, if you're wondering about Genesis and what the lineup is, here it is, guys. So the lineup goes as such. First off, what we have is we have AJ Francis versus Rich Swann. That's a one-on-one match. We had Mustafa Ali versus Elijah in a one-on-one. And for the first time ever, I don't ever remember TNA ever doing this, an intergender match. Myra Say going one-on-one with Ryan Nemeth, and this exploded during the TNA live show. So we got that. Of course, Lei Ying Ling versus Zarya for the TNA Knockouts title. Cedric Alexander versus Moose versus Joe Hendry in a triple threat, but I think Cedric also got caught in the net. I don't know if he was there or not.
No, Cedric was in the match tonight.
All right. So he was there. Cool. Thank you. Then we had Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy versus The Righteous for the TNA tag team titles. Of course, JDC, this was his final match, his retirement fight against Eddie Edwards. And then, yes, after the match was over, there was one little brouhaha that did explode, and it led to Santino making a big announcement at the pay-per-view because of everything that was going on. And it was gonna be once again a rematch. It was Mike Santana versus versus Frankie Kazarian, and the special guest referee was gonna be Nick Nemeth, and this was gonna be, like you said, Anthony, a death match for the TNA World Title at Genesis. Anthony will have the results on that. Now, okay, as far as the overall review goes, there was a lot of people slamming this show. And I mean pulverizing this show. Some of them called it the worst show of 2026. Some people gave this between a ranking of 1 to 2 stars. Like, they crushed this by saying that this was a horrible show. I thought this was 50-50. I'm not as harsh as the next person is about the show. I thought they did an okay job. Because I get where the criticism is coming from. I get a lot of the criticism that happened on the show. I get that. So I'm not gonna say it was the worst show in the world, but it wasn't the greatest show in the world. It was kind of it was an in the middle for me. So for me, I could give this maybe 5 out of 10. I thought this was a 50-50 show. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, come on in. It is all yours.
Yeah, a lot of very negative feedback when it comes to this first show on AMC. For the first episode of TNA on AMC, the company decided to go light on the wrestling, which felt like the worst possible way to get wrestling fans to tune in. We only got 3 matches on the entire show. The 6-man tag felt rushed, and the women's tag title bout was messy, but the main event delivered some decent wrestling. TNA had 2 hours to give any lapsed fans who tuned in out of curiosity and any new fans who were giving it a chance, a reason to keep coming back, and it felt like it failed at giving us a show worth coming back to. Packing so many ads into the show definitely hurt the flow, but even if the show was commercial free, it would have been underwhelming. TNA has a talented roster, but whoever put this episode together clearly didn't want to make that the main focus. I'm with you. I'm going to give it a solid 5 out of 10 for me. An in the middle show. The main event saved it from being an absolute dud of a show. And some breaking news from the NFL: the Seattle Seahawks smashing the San Francisco 49ers 41-6. The Seattle Seahawks on their way to the NFC Championship game, where they will host either the Chicago Bears or their hated rivals, the Los Angeles Rams. And if it's the Rams, if it's anything like the game you and I had last month, MF, we're in for a doozy.
It's gonna be very interesting to see, but we'll see. We'll see, because those games are tomorrow.
On the Smackdown, baby.
On the Smackdown, we do. And we do start this baby off. They were in London for this one at the OVO Arena near Wembley, in London, England. So we started it off, of course, with there was a promo segment by the new WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. And then it was interrupted by Nick Aldis. And obviously, Randy Orton came out. And that started a whole thing. Jacob Fatu came out. And it led to the first fight of the night. Randy Orton versus The Miz. Of course, this is a qualifying match. For the winner to earn a shot at the title, it'll go into a fatal 4-way to earn a shot at the championship. Miz versus Orton. Orton wins the match. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. He goes into the 4-way, one step closer for that title shot at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Short fight, 2 stars. Could have been better if it was given a little more time, but I'm not really too mad about it. Anthony, it is all yours. Yeah.
Well, the only positive that came out of it, MF, was your boy Randy Orton moving
Getting
on.
a big win. Yep. One step closer.
All right. As far as the promo segment goes at the start, Drew McIntyre remaining a heel was both the expected route for him to take and the right call. WWE could have turned him babyface following the win, but he operates so much better as a monster heel. His promo was good, and the way it led into the first match made sense. As for Orton and The Miz, these two have been working together for years, so they have built up enough chemistry to have a good match in their sleep, even though, like you said, it was only a 2-star match. And The Miz has, I got to be honest here, The Miz has never looked weaker. His finisher doesn't finish people anymore, and it feels like it's been years since he was a serious contender for a title. But then again, I mean, it could be more of the case of they want to put him in a utility veteran role at this point in his career. I mean, he's done everything there is to do. He's the first ever 2-time Grand Slam champion. So, and he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, whether you like the guy or not. And but he has definitely looked weak for a little bit now, but you know, it is what it is. But Orton now goes to Montreal next Saturday night as part of Saturday night's main event. Fatal 4-way match against the 3 other qualifier winners here last night. And the winner of that match, of course, MF, gets the golden goose, gets the golden opportunity. They will head to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship in 2 weeks at the Royal Rumble. So, not much more to add on to here. So a solid 2 stars. MF, set me up for the next match if you would.
Yeah, all right. It was a women's tag team matchup, as it was Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss going up against the WWE Women's United States Champion Julia and Kiana James, and it was Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair winning the match, as it was Alexa hitting the Sister Abigail on Kiana James for the win. But after the match was over, Anthony, it looks like we got some explosions. It looked like Julia was looking for a fight, but Kiana James was like, no, not our time, not our place. We need to bail out. Julia was looking for that one. She wanted that.
Oh, she definitely did. And what was the time for this match, MF?
8 minutes and 30 seconds.
2.5, 2 3/4. It felt more competitive than their previous encounters, which benefited the match. Kiana James and Julia were definitely more aggressive than they have been in recent weeks. There were a couple of spots that did not look great, but most of what we got in this bout was good. Unfortunately, that aggression did not equal a win. The former tag team champions were able to secure the win thanks to Alexa Bliss hitting Kiana James with the Sister Abigail. Lash Legend and Nia Jax came out and attacked Alexa and Charlotte when it was over. Kiana James was going to go after, or Julia was going to go after Nia Jax for getting involved in her business, but Kiana James talked her out of it and physically held her back. If Kiana James is going to carry that huge business associate bag with her every week, she's got to start using it as a weapon. Maybe stuff that thing with bricks like Sherry Martel did when she had that loaded purse back in the day. It was hard to tell, but it felt like WWE might be planting seeds for Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair to break up soon. I think a breakup is imminent. It looks so effortless for Kiana James to lift up her opponents. The announcers never make a big deal out of her power, but she is probably one of the strongest pound-for-pound competitors on the roster. And the way Charlotte covered Kiana after a crossbody looked very weird and ineffective. So this was a 2.5 to 2 3/4 star match. So not much more. MF, it's all yours.
Yeah, 2.5. I thought they did a solid job with this. I think it could have been better in certain areas, but I'm not too mad about it. But I do love the fire from Julia, because this is what we wanted. This is what we've been waiting for, to see this Julia come back. You know, Julia was the beautiful madness. She used to terrorize people, especially in Marigold. And if you remember her in Stardom, she was a legend in the game. You know, that's why everybody was comparing her and Stephanie Valkyria as 1A, 1B. And it looked like Julia got lost in the shuffle where Stephanie is on the rise. Julia's kind of lost that momentum, that whatever was carrying Julia to be such the dominant force. And it looks like maybe they're starting to bring her back to what I knew her as. So I'm glad they're doing this. I hope they keep this up. So nothing more to say. Next up, we did get a promo segment by Cody Rhodes. And yes, it did lead to a brawl because she did, she wanted Jacob Fatu and the whole 9 yards. So that got, whatever. Next up we had was Matt Cardona versus Trick Williams. And Trick Williams beats Matt Cardona in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. Anthony, it is all yours.
850 again? Or was that a little less?
850. Nope, 850.
I thought I heard that, right? Okay. All right. Let me just quickly say, when it comes to Cody, he gave his usual rah-rah kind of speech before saying he was entering the Royal Rumble with the attention of being the second man to win it 3 times. He also spoke about owing Jacob Fatu a receipt for what he did last week. So that's all we can say there. I'll tell you what, Michael Bullock and I were back and forth on this match. Well, I had Trick winning this match. Bullock thought Matt Cardona was going to win this match because he thought it might have been a little too soon for Trick Williams. But I'm like, no. Trick is a future stud. And I got this feeling they're going to put Trick over in this match. And sure enough, I had this one right. Pretty even matchup. There was obviously a difference in experience, but both men bring a lot of similar qualities to the table. So they were able to put together a bout that was enjoyable. It was hard to tell who would win because both men would make sense to advance in the tournament, and unpredictability always makes a match more interesting. The former Zack Ryder put up a good fight, but Trick Williams prevailed to advance to the Fatal 4-Way, and that's all we can say on that. Cardona gave a brief interview before the match about how he had to leave WWE to find himself again. Sounds familiar. Sounds like the same thing Cody did years ago. Cardona's missile dropkick from the apron looked good. Cardona caught Williams with his running boot more than he intended. And the way Cardona countered a side slam with a DDT looked a little awkward. It was almost like he forgot he was supposed to counter it and remembered halfway through. Another 2.5, 2 3/4 star match. So, yeah, Trick Williams with the big wins. So the first big win of his main roster career, MF. Could it lead to an even bigger win next week in that 4-Way with Randy Orton and the 2 others?
We'll see. We'll see. So next up on the show, I agree with that. I mean, 2.5 to 3. So yes. And then was Kit Wilson coming out, and basically he was trying to promote, trying to cut a promo. Obviously, Jacob Fatu wasn't having it. Jumped Kit, got booed by the fans in London, and then he's like, you know what? Screw this. You want your receipt? Come and get it, Cody Rhodes. Cody comes out, and basically it was on. Cody and Jacob started swinging. Gestapo security guards run out, and even Nick Aldis hits the ring. And it was, he didn't want this. You knew this was gonna explode, and it exploded. All right. It boiled over, and the tea was spilling at that point. It was on. So, oh brother, that was a good segment. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Thank you for that. Next up we did have after that was Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa. This was another one of those qualifying matches. Damian Priest winning the match in 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Reason why? Wyatt. They came out. They wanted because I'll say this: the MFTs, you've gone and up and done it. You stole the lantern, and you know what that lantern means to the Wyatts. That is Bray Wyatt's lantern. That was a gift. That is his legacy. That's his thing. And Solo, you gone and up and done it when you stole it from them a week ago, and they vowed revenge. And yeah, it was on. The MFTs and the Wyatt6 started swinging, and they started brawling. And the man who benefited from that, the bisexual Undertaker. Yeah, that guy, Damian Priest, wins it. And now he's one step closer to getting a shot at the title at the Royal Rumble. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, this was a solid three-star bout. Wyatt's got involved, but hey, any other time we'd be frowning upon it. But in this situation, I understand. And I totally get why the Wyatts got involved in this one. You stole their lantern. They wanted it back. I mean, this was a simple concept.
Absolutely. The two previous qualifying matches didn't feel like they were big stakes, but Solo Sikoa and Damian Priest did a good job making this feel like an important match for them. These two always work well together. And the referee caught Tala Tonga cheating and booted him and ejected him from ringside as Solo was preparing to finish Damian off. Lights went out. Wyatt6 appeared behind the MFTs, began a huge brawl at ringside. Solo stopping Uncle Howdy from taking the lantern, but the distraction allowed Damian Priest to hit South of Heaven for the win. Sikoa talking trash like he did something special after applying the first headlock in the match was funny, and the way Priest popped up to hit a spinning heel kick was awesome. And yeah, big win for Damian Priest. You can add him now to the four-way. We got Randy Orton, we got Trick Williams. Now we got Damian Priest. We got one spot left to determine. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, big win for Damian Priest. And it looked like for a moment that Uncle Howdy was going to get the lantern back, but then the big guy there said, not on my watch. So Solo and the MFTs. Well, like Bullock and I was saying during our SmackDown chat last night, we saw the Wyatts get their lantern back, but only temporarily. So it was only temporarily, and that is that. So big win for Damian Priest. He moves on. So this was about 3 to 3.25 stars. So with that being said, MF, let's move on to our next match.
Excuse me. I apologize. Okay. Carmelo Hayes putting the United States title on the line against, well, because of the international visa situation, he actually was able to show up in London. TNA X Division champion Leon Slater shows up, gets the opportunity, gets the title fight, but Melo doesn't miss. Carmelo Hayes, and still the United States heavyweight champion, wins it in 11 minutes. Anthony Florio, this was good. I like this match. This match was
11:43 was that?
Yup.
That's what I thought. Okay. Here's the thing. This was the first time these two have ever shared a ring, and it looked like they have been working together for years. They had instant chemistry thanks to their similar abilities. Carmelo Hayes appeared to land funny on his left leg, but he continued the match. They wore each other out, and by the time the commercial break was over, both men were looking worse for wear. Once again, the United States Heavyweight Championship stole the show on Friday Night SmackDown. Carmelo Hayes has proved he is one of the most reliable workers on the roster, but the last few weeks of title matches have cemented him as one of the best all-around wrestlers in WWE. Hayes continued to sell the injured leg, but he fought through it and managed to beat the Young X Division champion to retain the U.S. title. Carmelo Hayes turning a superplex into a cutter for the win. You can make an argument this was the fight of the night here. It was too bad that Leon Slater was pulled from TNA Genesis due to his WWE commitments. Leon Slater makes so many things he does look easy. He is definitely a prodigy in the ring, and WWE would be wise to sign him when his TNA deal runs up. this might be the best Leon Slater has looked in the WWE ring. He looked even more at home in a Smackdown ring than he does in NXT. And Slater's slingshot leg drop on the apron was awesome. Bullock and I were eating this match up. Unbelievable. 4 stars. I don't care. This was a 4-star match. You can make an argument for Fight of the Night if you wanted to, although the next match we have coming up, you could easily also make an argument for Fight of the Night honors, but it's definitely between those two for sure. But this was easily 4 stars, easily. And I am, don't ever get rid of the US Open Challenge. Don't ever get rid of it. I mean, because of the fact that when they brought back the US Open Challenge, when Sami Zayn brought back the US Open Challenge in an ode of respect to John Cena, I mean, every match has been banger after banger after banger after banger. You get the gist. So, incredible match. 4 stars. MF, that United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge, do not, I repeat, do not end it anytime soon. Please.
No, you can't. And the thing is that it gets better and better every match. Whoever they throw, it just gets better. So yeah, I totally agree with that. 4 stars, definitely. You can even make an argument for Fight of the Night. There was only one cutout here. It was Jordynne Grace versus Chelsea Green. Jordynne Grace winning the match in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And it does set up possibly Jordynne Grace versus Jade Cargill for the title. I think that's where they're gonna go. I think that's the path that they want to go. So nothing more to say. Next up, well, let's set up for what's gonna go down next week. So next week, what we have is we got Kiana James and Julia versus Lash Legend and Nia Jax versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss in a triple threat match. Winners will get a future shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. So Io, Rhea, you might want to have a very close eyes on this matchup because you may have to deal with one of these 3 teams down the line. MFTs versus the Wyatts for the WWE Tag Team Championships, and Trick Williams to go one-on-one with Damian Priest. The main event of the evening was the final matchup to determine who is going to get into the Fatal 4-Way for the championship match at the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn versus the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov. It was Sami winning it. 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And he advances. So you got it. Here is your final 4. And this will go down at the Saturday night's main event. It will be Randy Orton versus Trick Williams versus Damian Priest versus Sami Zayn. Woo! Anthony, 12:30. Sami wins it. And there is your final 4.
Wow. I got to give this another 4 stars. The best part about this match is that it felt completely different from their last encounter. They worked hard to make it feel like both men were fighting for their lives. Sami Zayn is a lauded veteran, and Ilya Dragunov is one of the best young stars on the roster, so you should not be surprised to hear they put on another great show. After a great back-and-forth fight that saw both men come close to winning a few times, Sami Zayn was able to get the win with the haluva kick. Both men hit some stiff chops that you could hear over the crowd. It's not often I say this, but we had co-fights of the night. The Carmelo Hayes and Leon Slater, and this match here with Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. Fantastic match. I'm not surprised Sami won. I thought Sami was going to win this going in, give him the win back after Ilya Dragunov took the United States Heavyweight Championship from Sami Zayn a few months ago. And now we're set up for what should be an amazing Fatal 4-Way next Saturday night as part of Saturday night's main event. Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn. And I told Bullock this during our chat, and MF, you're hearing this for the first time. And I want you to put me on the record for this when I say this. I got Sami Zayn winning that 4-Way next week. I think Sami Zayn's going to win it. Not just because it's in Montreal. But then again, even if it wasn't in Montreal, I still would have gone with Sami Zayn to win this match. Because you know how bad he wants to be the WWE champion. He wants to be a world champion in general.
Yeah.
And I also believe that sometime this year, I don't know when, but I do believe sometime this year, Sami Zayn will be either the WWE or World Heavyweight Champion by the end of this year. I believe it. So, Sami is going to win that 4-Way in Montreal, and then it sets him up to go to his other home away from home, because you know how over he is in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Can you imagine that, MF? Saudi Arabia, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre at the Rumble for the WWE Championship. And there's a built-in story. Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre. I believe he's 0-11 all time against Drew McIntyre. I believe Drew will barely get out of that still the champ. I think it would be a disservice to take the title off of him that quickly after it took him so long to get it back. And in front of fans, no less.
Yeah.
I mean, because when he was the WWE champion, those two other times before, there was nobody.
Yeah.
Empty Performance Center, WrestleMania 36 when he beat Brock Lesnar. And then that final Raw before the 2020 Survivor Series in the Thunderdome, Drew got the belt back from Randy Orton. Both of those times, he had nobody. Empty Performance Center, and then the Thunderdome. Now he's finally got that moment that he should have had a long time ago. And by the way, how freaking cool and how freaking sick was that entrance when he came out at the start of the show?
Yeah.
With those, seeing those bagpipers there took me back to SummerSlam 92 when we had the Balmoral Highlanders before the big match with the British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
For the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and Roddy Piper playing along with them. An awesome moment on that, leading into what I still consider the greatest match in SummerSlam history, but that's a story for another day. But nonetheless, another 4-star match, co-fights of the night, and I'm not surprised they gave Sami the win back. But like I said, MF, put me on the record when I say it. I told that to Bullock last night, and I just told you here tonight, and everybody watching right now. 1 week from tonight, Montreal, Sami Zayn's winning that 4-Way. He's going to go to the Saudi. He's going to challenge Drew McIntyre, but I believe he'll come up just a little bit short. But sometime this year, he's going to be WWE or World Heavyweight Champion. Book it. All yours.
I definitely believe that that's probably going to happen. No doubt about it. I think you're absolutely right, Anthony. There's really nothing more to add. This was a 4-star bout. This was a great main event. Another solid Smackdown. Another solid show. I could say easily 8 to 8.5. I thought this was a really good show. Two weeks in a row, the 3-hour format, and Dave delivered. I think a lot of people were a little nervous about it, but I honestly have to say, they're hitting. They're clicking on all cylinders. There's really nothing more to say, Anthony. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, 3-hour shows, and they both knocked them out of the park. SmackDown's cooking.
Cooking with gas. That's as the old saying goes. Friday, SmackDown did a good job of juggling multiple storylines related to titles, but 2 matches stood out above the rest. Carmelo Hayes and Leon Slater put on an incredible display of high-flying action in the United States Heavyweight Championship bout, adding another in a long line of show-stealing performances by competitors fighting over that prestigious title. The main event was also a fantastic match between Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov, every time those two step into the ring, they create magic. We now know it'll be Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Sami Zayn, and Damian Priest fighting over a title shot in what should be an awesome match. Last night's show had a couple of weak spots, but it was a decent way to spend a few hours on a Friday night. So I'm going to give this an excess of maybe 7 to 7.5 out of 10, maybe. So not much more. MF, nothing more to say except take us home, MF, with your overall thoughts.
All right. Well, I actually already did. And yeah, that's it. We're out of here. So on Tuesday night is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Like we said, for the aforementioned, we will get into Genesis first. Then we'll get into Raw and then NXT after that. On Thursday, actually on Friday is NFL Friday. We're getting into the conference championships, and we're also going to give our thoughts on the national championship game, Miami and Indiana. 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, and
including Saturday night's main event.
Yes, we will have that as well. So, yeah, we're out of here. So have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you all on Tuesday.
Goodbye.